Curran.
Mr. Chair, the bill before us in the House tonight is an attack on vulnerable students, and it's an attack on quality education and an attack on fairness. And it's all in the name of the government pandering to ACT Party ideology. I want to address Clause 6 because it's the main part of the bill, and as you know, we fundamentally oppose this part of the bill, which undermines student representation. Being able to organise to provide invaluable services for students, being able to organise to do good in the wider community. I want to talk tonight. I haven't spoken in this debate until now. It's been many years since I was a student, and it's been a few years. I wasn't active in student politics at university. I attended the odd protest, but my activism happened in other forums. But I was a beneficiary of student services and good student organisation. And I want to talk about good student organisation and the value that it can bring to a community. And I want to talk about what the organisation that I've observed amongst our student organisation in Dunedin in recent weeks following the Christchurch earthquake, where they've played a critical role in our wider community in organising to do their best to bring relief to the people of Christchurch. And if they didn't have an effective student organisation, that simply wouldn't have happened. And just to give you a couple of examples, there's a thing called the Christchurch Embassy, which got set up in Dunedin in the week after the earthquake, which was essentially based at the Dunedin railway station to provide a place for people fleeing from Christchurch to go, and a central point, basically, so they could receive services. That was set up by a group within Dunedin that included student organisations who sat around the table right from the very beginning and initiated that a really important service. Those students also organised to assemble and send 18,000 packed lunches to Christchurch. They organised to send teams of people to Christchurch. That wouldn't have happened without that good organisation that they provide. And that's just one example of the benefit that student organisations can bring to the wider community. As I said, I'm a beneficiary. I was a beneficiary of the student organisation when I went to university. I used the services that were made possible by it, and I happily paid those dues. And under this bill, and Clause 6, which I think goes to the real heart of it, this government is going to force all those student associations to operate an opt-in system of membership rather than allowing those students themselves to choose between opt-in and opt-out systems through referenda, as is the case under the current legislation. And it's funny that a bill taking away so much choice has come from the National and the ACT parties, who normally love to throw around that rhetoric about the nanny state. In fact, in continuing to push through this legislation through the House, they've ignored the 98% of submissions to the Select Committee, which were against the VSM. And we know that students don't want this change. It's blind ideology. Student associations themselves were open to making opting out of membership easier and fully refunded. And they were open to that option of mandated 5-yearly referendums on association membership. And these compromises that have been put through in this clause and these series of clauses would make a real difference. And my colleague, Grant Robertson, and other colleagues have appealed to the national members on the other side of the House to see reason on this bill and vote for these amendments. The important services provided by student associations include things such as, there are some incredibly important...
I call the Honourable Heather